Well, hello again. Going just a little off-piste with this one. I mean, you know what it's like. 1 minute pieced on, the next minute pieced off. Now, I was looking, as I normally do, as I said before, usually when I'm having breakfast, I'll have a look at some of these YouTube channels, get a bit of a chuckle out of them. I don't know whether to name them or not, but there's a few of them that have got a recurring theme. Now, this recurring theme is all the economies of the West are being run into the ground deliberately, and the goal is that there's going to be a one world government, one world currency, one world government. I mean, have you ever heard anything quite as ridiculous? I actually bought the t-shirt. Paranoia Industries. Everything you know is wrong. This is the message these people are putting out. Everybody's out to get me. Can't say I've noticed, to be perfectly honest. You know, put a line through David Icke a very long time ago. Complete and utter rubbish, absolute rubbish. People say, well, just, you know, they're not laughing at Icke now, you know, now it's all come true. Well, what exactly has come true? What? I haven't seen one of these conspiracy theorists explain exactly how a one world government would work. Now, most governments have enough trouble trying to run one country, let alone every country on earth. A one world government. Just let that sink in for a minute. And it should become obvious to you very quickly, that is if you've got an IQ bigger than your shoe size, that that could never possibly work. I don't know where they got the idea from Star Trek. Is it a United Federation of Planet? The planet Earth has got a world government, hasn't it? That's probably where this nonsense came from. But just think about it. Can you imagine Putin, Zelensky, Trump, Biden? Who's running England at the moment? It's not Winston Churchill, is it? But remember, Winston Churchill was black, okay? Sort of crap that you hear on YouTube about from these conspiracy morons. So can you imagine all these world leaders, the guy that runs China, all the little banana republics in Africa, you know, Macron, whoever the German Chancellor is, you know, all of these world leaders. Can you imagine they would give up their governments to a one world government with one person at the top? These conspiracy theorists, they never tell you who is going to form this one world government, who is going to be the world president. Not one of them will tell you how this is going to be structured. They'll say, oh, it's a conspiracy, oh, the economies are being run into the ground, businesses are being deliberately ruined, they want a one world government. Not one of them will explain how they think the one world government would be formed, who would form it, who would run it, and what the rest of the world's leaders would have to say about it. It's because it's complete and utter rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. It's not possible. And they are mistaking some sort of carefully coordinated plan to run all the Western economies into the dirt for gross incompetence. That's all it is. It's gross incompetence. What kicked it all off was, you know what, 2 or 3 years ago. And the intelligence services would be telling the governments behind the scenes that it was an escaped bioweapon. That was why there was such a huge knee-jerk reaction, because all the governments around the world wanted to save as many people as possible, and they're getting ripped to shreds for it. Just think about it. You know, if the governments of the world wanted to reduce their populations, they'd have done nothing. They'd have just sat back with a bucket of popcorn and watched what happened. They wouldn't have prepared all this other stuff. And, you know, I thought straight away, as soon as I saw, you know, very shortly after it all kicked off, I thought, I know what's happening here. It's not politically acceptable to say so, but they're sure this is an escape bioweapon. And I think after a while they said that it was genetically modified, didn't they? So it was probably a base, if you like, base bioweapon. It's the part of the bioweapon that makes it spread like wildfire without the nasty bit attached to it. If you wanted to wipe out the world population, you could do it very quickly with something like that. And I think that's what happened. I mean, the outfit that I work for wanted us to be jabbed, but this was after I got my first jab, because I thought, well, I want to be protected from this thing personally. I've got zero interest in what conspiracy theorists have to say about it, you know. I thought, well, who knows what's coming, you know. And then the outfit that I work for said, you've got to be jabbed. So, I mean, that didn't bother me at the time. I thought, well, you know, I had 3 of them. I could have taken long service leave. I've got enough of it. I could have taken a year off, you know, and not had them. But yeah, it didn't bother me. I thought it was probably a good thing, and especially has, you know, there's a lot of people that I know, people that I work with, even got it, you know. And people say, well, they got it and they were jabbed, but if they weren't jabbed, they might have died, I think is the argument. There was 2 of us out of the whole team that never got it. Myself and one of the other guys never got it. The medics say, well, you know, you probably did have it, but you were just asymptomatic. But that's not true, because during that period, we had to test all the time for work. It never came up positive in my case. Anyway, that's an aside. So, there is absolutely no way a one world government would work. It's just not possible. Next time somebody says to you, the economies are being deliberately run into the ground, you know, and they want to form a one world government, ask them precisely how they think that one world government will be constructed, what all the world leaders would have to say about it, who would run it. They'll go, yeah, well, that'll be the response. And because of what happened, and everyone was locked down, that's what ruined all the economies. But the governments had to do that because of what they were being told behind the scenes. You know, the intelligence services were telling them that it's an escape bioweapon, you're going to lose a lot of people. And the governments tried to save as many as they could at the expense of the economy. I don't think they realised exactly how bad it would be. Things where I am pretty good. I mean, I've looked at videos of what's going on in the UK. It looks pretty bad. But here, it's life is normal. You know, no problem at all. Yeah, no problems this end. Now, the other thing I saw this morning, and I occasionally watch that Jeff buys cars. I don't think I've seen him buy a car. I don't watch all of his stuff, but I watch it. Okay, it depends on the title, you know. If it's some sort of conspiracy thing, I'll watch it just for a laugh. And because he's filled his head with all these dystopian novels, you know, when he was younger, I don't know whether he still does it, but he's going, oh, look at it. The sky, you know, it's all grey, you know. Well, when we were all locked down, it was all beautiful sunshine. And he thinks someone's controlling the weather. I do get a chuckle out of him, but he is completely deranged. He's got no idea of any of the real world. You know, it's all a conspiracy to him. It's all being run. All the economy's been run into the ground deliberately. They want a one world government. You know, somebody's controlling the weather. Doesn't seem to occur to him that they're going to be living under the same weather. You know, if they're releasing anything into the air, chemtrails. Oh, they are going to be breathing it as well, aren't It's completely and utterly ludicrous. Was there anything else I was going to say about that? I mean, I've seen so many people, you know, I just cringe every time I hear that. You know, they want a one world government. They want a one world government. It's all being purposely destroyed. No. You're mistaking a cohesive global plan for complete and utter incompetence. And in the next breath they say how incompetent the government is. They know the government is incompetent. This is in England. You know, they know the government is incompetent, yet they're saying there's this master plan and it's running true. You know, they're capable of generating this master plan to destroy the economy, form this one world government. But as I said at the beginning of this, just think about that for a minute. You know, Zelensky, Putin, whoever's running America, whoever's running China, Macron, whoever's running Germany, Italy, all these countries, all the countries in Africa, all the countries in South America, Australia, New Zealand, you know, all those leaders saying, "Oh yeah, you know, we want to chuck everything we've worked for out the window, and we'll be answerable to this." I don't know. Nobody's named a world leader, have they? Not one of these conspiracy theorists has named a world leader. But it is complete and utter rubbish, absolute rubbish. Things are bad, it's because things are bad. The government is just incompetent. There's no master plan there. From a distance, I can see that. So wakey guys, you know, get all this dystopian novel drivel, all this David Icke drivel out of your heads. You know, the planet's being run by lizards. Plenty of lizards around here. None of them have given me any instructions. The other thing too is I've been looking at the usual channels I look at during the week with regard to the UFO stuff and what's going on in America. It's quite funny actually. I didn't realise that Danny Sheehan and Steve Bassett, I thought they'd set up the same thing, some sort of paradigm thing, but there's a slight difference in names. You know, Danny Sheehan's one is, the name is slightly different to the one Steve Bassett set up. But if I get time today, Sunday morning at the moment, if I get time today, I'm going to make another video later on the usual subject. You know, UAP, disclosure, who's saying what, you know. But I've got a fairly busy day, so it might not happen. If it does, it does. Paranoia Industries. Everything you know is wrong. And I'll be rushing out and buying these t-shirts. I was trying to get a I might order one online just for fun. I was going to get a Wayland Yutani, Building Better Worlds. As always, if you've struggled through the video all the way to this point, many thanks for watching, and you never know, maybe I'll catch you again.